Good morning. I am very excited to be here today and to raise awareness for Prematurity Awareness Month. I have been honored to be able to work together with the FEMA board and with some of our subject matter experts, of which I am certainly not one, to raise awareness to these important issues. We understand and know that health disparities start before birth and are continued through birth and are something that we need to focus on as a community, that it oftentimes occur, these issues, in the shadows, and the purpose of events like today is to make sure that we're bringing these issues out into the light, that we're talking about them, that we're creating space to address them, and that we're providing the type of education and awareness, not only for those who are going through it, but for the rest of us to be able to be supportive as we move forward. We understand that there are a lot of dynamics to why health disparities occur, but a civilized society is oftentimes measured by the birth rate and by the impact of young people in the health system and the equity of the system to each and every person who is part of it. So very much honored to be here to raise awareness of this, to have been part of several educational programs in the past, and to look forward to continuing those efforts. So with that, I wanted to call up first Dr. Carol Garvey to say a few remarks before we read the proclamation.
Thank you. Thanks. I am Dr. Carol Garvey, and a member of the Fetal and Infant Mortality Review team for the county and its community action team. My baby was born 8 weeks too early. He spent 3 weeks in the NICU, neonatal intensive care unit. He had to be tube fed initially, which certainly reduced the opportunities for physical closeness and bonding. More than 1 in 10 infants in the United States and in Montgomery County are born prematurely, which is defined as more than 3 weeks before their due date. Many of these preemies die within the first weeks of life. Many of those who survive are left with serious complications and have lifelong and costly health problems. While the NICUs with their advanced equipment may save many of the infants, many who have access to them, many premature births could and should be prevented. We appreciate Councilmember Friedson and the County Council's proclamation on Prematurity Awareness Month to remind us that many of these infant deaths and disabilities and the heartbreak that accompanies them can be prevented through assurance of good maternal health prior to pregnancy and good medical management of risk factors during pregnancy, so that babies remain in their mother's wombs for as long as possible. Thank you.
Now let me introduce Sheila O'Connor.
Thank you and good morning. I really just want to, I'm the program manager for the Montgomery County Improved Pregnancy Outcomes Program, which includes the Fetal and Infant Mortality Review Board and the Community Action Team. And I want to thank Councilmember Friedson and all the members of the County Council for being willing to work with us and read out this proclamation for November as Prematurity Awareness Month. We're really grateful to them for shining a light on an issue that we see year after year in our FEMA board reviews. As with the infant mortality rate, we see more losses among infants in our county, among Black African American women and their infants. So the racial disparity that we see continues across all aspects of pregnancy and maternal and infant issues. Dr. Garvey mentioned some of the factors that seem to impact prematurity. And when we do our de-identified case reviews at our FEMA meetings, we do see these factors come up among the infants that die when we look at those cases. For example, overweight, we've seen a steady uptick in overweight, obesity among women before and during the pregnancy that resulted in an infant loss. So that's been for the last 5 or 6 years now. And last year, calendar year 2022, overweight and obese women who lost an infant at birth or shortly after birth accounted for more than 50% of all infant losses. We also have seen since COVID a decline in the number of women who, during the course of their pregnancy, received prenatal care. And I believe it was only 46% of the women received care during the first 3 months in 2022. And we know that that's a very important window, those first 3 months of pregnancy. We also see women who have received no prenatal care whatsoever. So these are the kinds of issues that the FEMA board develops recommendations about and forwards to our community action team, which is charged with making changes on the ground, if you will. So I just want to mention also that we'll continue to work closely. Our community action team members represent an array of agencies, but we work closely with our department's Babies Born Healthy program and the African American Health Program SMILE program, as well as all of our community members, because this is an issue that seems to cross all groups, all socioeconomic levels, and one that really deserves our attention. So again, I'd like to thank the council for bringing attention to this and declaring November as Prematurity Awareness Month in Montgomery County. Although she didn't want to speak, I'd like to introduce from our Babies Born Healthy program, Crystal Trent Paltry, who's joining us here today. So, okay, she is going to say hello. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. My name is Crystal Trent Paltry. I'm here representing the Montgomery County Babies Born Healthy program. We are a home visiting program that focuses on serving Black pregnant people who have Medicaid in the county. So really focusing on education and making sure our clients know how to advocate for themselves. We do work with a lot of the population that suffers from these disparities that we've heard about today. So thank you all for bringing awareness to prematurity in Montgomery County.
Thank you so much for all the work that you do for our community action team, our FEMA board, all of our community partners. It truly takes a village to address these issues, and that's really why we're here today. So, whereas infant mortality, defined as the death of a baby during its first year of life, is a key indicator of the health of an entire community. It is typically measured as a rate that reflects the number of deaths per 1,000 live births. And whereas the infant mortality rate in Montgomery County has declined overall during the last decade, and between 2017 and 2021 stood at 4.7 deaths per 1,000 live births. During the same period, however, the rate among Black and African American women remained nearly twice as high as the rate of other races. And whereas each year in the United States, 1 in 10 babies is born prematurely. Prematurity is a birth that happens too soon, before 37 weeks of pregnancy. Babies born too early may face life-threatening complications and also have lifelong health problems. And prematurity affects our community in the broader context as well. In Montgomery County, 80% of the infants who died in 2022 were premature, and nearly half of those were extremely premature, born at less than 28 weeks gestational age. And whereas, while the cause of prematurity isn't always known, a number of actions can reduce the risk of preterm birth, including seeing a healthcare provider before pregnancy to treat any medical conditions, maintaining a healthy diet and physical activity, attending all prenatal care appointments, and waiting at least 18 months after giving birth to becoming pregnant again. And whereas the Montgomery County Fetal and Infant Mortality Review Board and its community action team supports efforts to increase awareness of this serious health issue in our community. And whereas the loss of any infant in our community affects all of us, and we must never become complacent in our efforts to improve birth outcomes for everybody. Across the nation, November is recognized as Prematurity Awareness Month. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland, hereby recognizes Prematurity Awareness Month, and be it further resolved that the County Council acknowledges the impact that premature births have on the community and encourages awareness amongst Montgomery County residents of the practices that reduce the risk for preterm births and eventually decrease the infant mortality rate in Montgomery County. Presented on this 28th day of November in the year 2023 by myself, Andrew Friedson, the Council President, Evan Glass.